All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 290. I am your host, Keith Andrew. Along here is Stephanie Weppler. And I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm excited. Let's do it.
And by the way, I meant the sort of couch behind you. You can sit on the couch, make yourself comfortable, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, that's all right. I think I'm just gonna stay down here. Can you see me
Yep,
okay?
it's perfect. I just want to
Okay,
make sure
good.
you're comfortable.
Oh yeah, no, my back is propped up. I'm feeling good. So,
Now, for people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still overcome controversy and reach my goals in life. You don't mind me moving stuff, I should have done this beforehand. But the whole point of my talk show, like I said, anything can happen in life. The whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still overcome controversy and reach my goals in life. At the same time, I'm able to turn myself into a perfect example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. But you should never give up, and you should prove to people that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. And you should prove to them you can still amount to something. Half hour, 45 minutes of your time, say anything you want, curse if you want to. It's uncensored, freedom of speech, freedom of self-expression. And I'm a talker, so I hope you're very talkative.
I'm ready to talk. Ask me anything you want.
So I'm going to ask you some easy questions and some hard-hitting ones. And then I'm going to
Yep.
pass it over to you. You can ask me anything you want, supporting a good cause, making a new friend out of it. And starting off, what can you tell us about yourself and life growing up?
Sure. So I am an actor, and I have been acting since I was 4 years old. I think that was the first time I went up on stage. I was Mrs. Puddle Duck in the whatever that grades. I know that was like junior kindergarten. I think they called it then. And I love acting. It's like my passion. I would do it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week if I could. Um, and I was born in Florida, grew up in Florida, South Florida, moved to New York when I was 22, and I've been living here ever since. This is my home now. New York is my home. I love New York. I can't imagine living anywhere else. I don't want to live anywhere else. Maybe California, but yeah. So, I also have a day job. I work at a not very exciting. I work at a financial, company, and I do basically office work, but it's cool. It's all right. They give me the freedom to go to auditions, and I can take off anytime I want. So I'm lucky. I'm like, knock on wood, it just I can keep that job, and it allows me to take classes and do I'm actually produced for the first time this year in my life. This year I am producing a film, and we already shot. It's being done in two parts. I'm an actor in it, and I have 6 friends who are also in it with me. And we shot part 1 in August, and now we're shooting part 2 this coming weekend. It's a lot of work producing. I never had any idea how much work it was going to be, and I love the work, but it's a lot of pressure too because you are responsible for everything. So I'm stepping up to the plate. I love the way part 1 came out. The film was called The Other Place, and it was written by a very talented writer called Nick Job, and he's written a lot of films for. I don't know if you know about the Actors Green Room. And he's written a lot of films that have been produced as part of their 72-hour film challenge. They have like a film challenge where people, they film them, they shoot them, and they edit them, these films, in 72 hours. And so it came out of that. So we're doing, like I said, part 2 this coming weekend. I'm very excited. I'm hoping it's going to be great. I think it's going to be great. So that's what I'm looking forward to right now. A lot of people now, a lot of actors nowadays are stepping up and producing their own work because you can do it now. You can have, with the internet, you can web series. people can actually, they don't have to be waiting around for other people to cast them and things. They can create their own films. And that's what I'm doing right now. So it's challenging, but fun.
No, absolutely. And then now the next question I was going to ask you is I do a lot of fan-made parodies just for fun, like for Jumbo Buck and Dumbo. Would you be interested in doing some of those? Basically, I would give you a couple lines, and you would reenact them, and we put our own spin on it. Would that be something you'd be interested in?
Oh, possibly, sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sounds great.
Basically, I just do it for fun, and it's it kind of annoys me in a way because these videos are getting over 1 million hits, 800 hits, and I'm like, well, then why
Wow.
can't my interviews get this? Okay, yes, everyone likes, a good-looking girl doing voiceover work. That's what I look for. But at the same time, yes, it's Dumbo. But I'm like, doesn't my message kind of go? If you like this, then you kind of should like my talk show. No, forget his talk show. Let's see if you upload any more Dumbo Bug. That's more important. But it's I basically want to show people I can do different things. When I
Yeah.
first started, I actually we can get to that one in a bit. Unless you want to hear it.
Yeah. Well, let me hear it. Let me hear it. Let
When
me
I
hear it.
first started the KeithAndrewNetWork back about trying to think. I got the floor solid in 2006. I had the
Mm-hmm.
Keith Andrew Power Hour, the Extreme Tuesday, the Keith and Tony show, the Keith and Andrew show, and basically I moved out to the side, and it's like, okay, it's high school. What else can I do? Fast forward a couple years. Basically, I got in. If you heard in my last conversation, my brothers were talking, and I got tired of being left out, blah blah blah, handicapped, retarded, and maybe we can fast forward, and that's why I'm blah 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 blah. So basically, I'm saying, okay, I want to use my learning disability as a strength instead of a crutch, saying, I can't do this, I can't do that, and poor me, blah blah blah. Can't go to college, can't do what you're doing. So I'm gonna show people, say, you know what? I'm gonna turn my weakness into a strength. So I love doing videos. I love doing my talk show and everything. And it's pretty much just like saying, you make a long story short, blah 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 blah. You know, um, have a disability, want to show people I can stem out something. 2013, don't ask me why, it seemed like a good idea at the time. I was doing all phone interviews.
Yeah.
And so I give you a perfect example. I have my phone, you're the camera. So I just got audio. People say, oh, you have this great format. Why aren't you as big or bigger than you portray
Mm-hmm.
yourself to be? Why don't you have sponsors? Why don't you have people helping you? Would you like to help me with it? No, no. If you can't do it yourself, it's not meant to be. It's like, yeah, thanks a lot, asshole. I didn't say it to him, but I was thinking it. Last person I talked to, I can't remember where I found them from. But I just pulled them out of thin air when I was looking for people to help me. He said, what I would recommend to you is doing your show over and doing it in a different format. So, okay. And I give you a perfect example. Season 1, what you see on the reflection, that's what the camera picked up. So,
Oh.
this is all season 1 right here, folks. Now,
Hmm.
season 2 is the same thing. Now I'm holding the camera and I'm recording a computer screen. That was season 2. And it didn't bother me in the beginning that, I wasn't being seen. But one of the reasons I'm doing my talk show is to work on my people skills and to work on my, I do suffer from depression. I have poor people skills. I suffer from panic attacks. So doing this, it's like therapy for myself.
Well,
So,
you don't seem like you have issues with talking to people. To me, you seem like you're pretty good at it.
well, after 3 years, I hope so.
Yeah, you've gotten really good at it. Clearly.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
And it's just, basically, now with Skype recorder, it's now cut in half. If you want to interview me, I would love that. You're going to be on the right, I'm on the left. But right now, on the right, you're the left.
Mm-hmm.
So over the 3 years, you went from the phone to the camera to now Skype recorder. And now you see a transition, how I changed over the years. And this year coming up, this June, will be actually 4 years. Knock on wood. And knock on wood for your acting, too. That, I'm saying what I did in 4 years. I did it all by myself. I was networking. I found people on my own. Some people with a learning disability, I can still mount to something. But look at what I can accomplish. I may take longer with what you're doing, but eventually I'm gonna get to where I'm getting. Anyway, that was a little sidetrack about me. But this is about you. But two easy questions I'm going to ask you first,
Sure.
and I'll pass it back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Is one, were you a study nerd or party animal? And did he ever do any sports growing up?
I was both. I studied a lot, and I also partied a lot. Is that what? Did you ask me if I was a studier or a party animal? Did I hear that right? I actually, if I heard that right, the answer is both. It's interesting. Like when I was in high school, I never read any books. I didn't study. I waited till the last minute to do anything. A paper that was due, I was up all night, and I would like show up right as class was starting and slip it under the door and go back home and go to bed because I'd been up all night writing it because I waited till the last minute. And I never read or anything. And when I got into college, I was partying, definitely. And when I got into college, I was living on campus, and I got into I had a great time. I mean, I made a lot of friends, and yeah, we would drink and have parties, and it was fantastic. But at a certain point, I started to really look at the world around me, and I was asking a lot of questions about it. I wanted to understand things about the world I lived in. I wanted to acquire knowledge and learn things about the world. So I really hit the books hard. And I fell in love with it. I fell in love with reading, and I never thought I would. I fell in love with geography, politics, economics, history. I just read, and just soaked it all up as much as I could. And I thought I was going to end up teaching, and I was acting at the same time, but I thought, I got to have a day job, and maybe I'll teach. And so that was the plan. I was going to teach, and I did teach for a year when I got out of college. I taught for a year, I just always missed when I wasn't acting. I was like, I gotta act. I can't. I just felt like my soul was craving to get out there and actually like perform. That's what I really wanted to do. So I finally just said, that's it. That's what I'm doing. And then I moved to New York and started pursuing acting. So I was both a partier and I hit the books, a party animal, and I hit the books hard, both, in equal parts, I would say too. And what was the second question? Yeah,
did he ever get to do any sports?
Oh, so that was another thing. When I was in high school, I was not into sports, not at all. I actually was on the dance team, which was like, I don't know, it was like I went to a very all-American high school where there was like the football team and the cliques, the in crowd, and I was never part of the in crowd. I was kind of like a little socially awkward and shy, and not one of the popular kids.
Same here.
And yeah, and there was a part of me that was like, good, I don't want to be part of the popular kids. I don't like you. You're fake. You're phony. But there was another little part of me that kind of wished I was, So that part of me ended up, being part of this dance team, which is kind of like cheerleaders. It was, I still can't believe I did it. But so that was the extent of anything that related to physical activity was dancing. But when I got later on after high school and into college, I definitely I found actually I liked sports. Like I started playing tennis, and I was like, wow, I actually can take a racket and hit a ball. I can't believe I can do that. I started, running and, whatever, different things like exercise stuff. But and I actually found like it's kind of fun to do these sports activities. I had thought I was always like sports, ugh, no thanks, But as I got older, I kind of was like, there's something, there's something about it's almost like when people talk in acting about people talk about being in the zone. So it's where you're just so focused on what's happening right in front of you. Like right now, I'm talking to you. I see your face. I'm taking you in. I see you taking me in. My mind is not thinking. I'm not thinking about what am I going to do 5 hours from now, or what happened yesterday when I went to the store or whatever. If you're in the moment, you're just right here, right now, with what's happening right in this second, as opposed to what happened yesterday or what you're going to do tomorrow or worrying about something in the future that hasn't happened yet. Being in the moment, being present. And that's when I learned, which I'd heard about, that, great athletes, you think about like a baseball player where that ball is coming and you got the bat, you can't be thinking about other things. It's just your mind, you have to be just focused on that ball that's coming at you. And that's all that exists is you, that ball, your fingers on the bat, and you're going to hit it when it comes, but you're just focused on that ball. That's being in the zone, being in the moment. And acting is like that too, in a way, where you have to be just focused on what's in front of you. And I as I got older, like in my 20s, I realized like that's a really fun thing about sports is getting you out of your head. So I did come to like playing sports a little bit. When I say playing sports, I mean like being on a softball team or, some local, community type thing. Not like professional sports, obviously. But so, yeah.
What did he ever get the chance to do one of those human pyramids, or not into that?
I did do that when I was on the dance team. I was one of the taller people, so I was always on the bottom, which kind of sucked. It's like I wanted to be the one that got to go on top, but I was like, I wasn't little, so I had to be on the bottom. That really sucked. But it's fun. It was fun. It was fun in its own way. It just wasn't who I was. Like I said, I was trying to be one of the popular kids because I didn't feel like I fit in, and it wasn't me. I wasn't a cheerleader type of person, Um, but but it ended up having its fun side as well. So it's all good. Life is just you learn as you go through your experiences in life. And I have no regrets, none. So
I love that stuff. I'm a loser.
yeah, high school was definitely hard for me. It was not, it was hard. It was hard. I hated it. Absolutely loathed it. And it was almost like my life was one of those, I don't know, one of those John Hughes movies, like, I don't know, was that with Molly Ringwald, like I can't remember the name of like Sweet 16. No, what is it called?
Breakfast Club?
Well, Breakfast Club, sure. And yeah, I mean, I would have been the one that was like with the bad kids, being kept after school. Like that's how I was at the time. Or like the one with what the heck is that one called with Pretty in Pink, my parents weren't wealthy, we weren't dirt poor, but we
Right.
weren't. And I grew up in an area of Florida where it seemed like everybody was really rich, and I was like, I literally lived on the wrong side of the tracks. Like there was like this big, you know, this train tracks. I lived like on the wrong side of those tracks. So I was always wanting to fit in and never quite getting there. But when I got older, that changed. So I got more comfortable in my skin. And I was basically like, I kind of feel like I gave the middle finger to all those kids in high school that maybe I felt looked down on me, and maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't look down on me. I don't know, but I never felt at home in that world. But now I feel at home in the world I live in. So, and I've created my own world, amazing people that I've met and that I make films with, through the Actors Green Room, a community of people, of like-minded souls, of like-minded people that are just great. And so my life changed in good ways. So.
Well, would you be interested in doing a pyramid, or is not one of your on your bucket list?
Not really. I don't think so.
Just throwing it out
there. Nah, that's all right. I can pass on that.
I try to have fun with it. I basically have certain questions I ask for the guys, and I ask for the girls. So it's more fun with the flirt with the girls.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like being different.
I'd like it too. It's good.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is, who influenced you to start your career? How many years have you been doing it? See, how did you start it? Who influenced you? And where do you see yourself?
Well, I mean, like I said earlier, I started acting when I was in junior kindergarten. I was like, I remember being like 4 or 5 years old, and the teacher being like, "Who wants to be in this play about Peter Rabbit?" I was like, "Me, me, 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 me. I want to be it. I want to do it. I want to do it. Me, me, me." I loved the idea of putting on shows for people, entertaining people, making them laugh or cry. Just moving people. I just always did. I knew from the time I was very, very young that that's what I wanted to do. And so I just did it as much as I could along the way. There have been a lot of people that have influenced me. God, so many people have influenced me. There's not like one person, I would say. And I see myself, I mean, I've had some amazing acting teachers, that's for sure. Right now, Sarah Baskin she teaches scene study at the Actors Green Room. She also teaches scene study at a place called Anthony Meindl's Actor Workshop, AMAW, and she's amazing. Anthony Meindl, he's an acting teacher that teaches in LA. He's like one of the premier top coaches there, but he comes to New York once or twice a year, and does workshops. And I've done his workshop 3 times, and it blows my mind every time. It's like a weekend workshop. He just cracks people open and pulls things out of them that they had no idea was there. And it's so amazing to see that happen to other people, and then to have it happen to you too. And so I see myself kind of like what I'm doing now, which is making films. I'd love to actually get paid more. When I first came to New York, I got lucky. I got an agent, and I ended up doing some commercials where I got paid, and that was great. But it's a lot of this. I'm not alone in this, and it's just it's not like a woe is me type of thing, but it's very common. Most actors go through a period where you're in your stride, you're getting paid, you're getting work, and then all of a sudden the phone doesn't ring and it's quiet. And then you're like, uh-oh, well, where's that job? I need that job. And so, it's ebbed and flowed. And so right now it's flowing. But, for a period of several years, nothing was happening. And then all of a sudden it starts happening again. And I don't know how or why that happens, but it does, and I'm not alone. There's so many stories of actors, like, I can't remember his name, the guy that's the lead guy in Mad Men. I've seen interviews with him where he's talked about, how he would just went through like major depression when he was living in LA before Mad Men, and he was just waiting for that phone to ring, and it just never rang, It never rang. But then one day it did, and his number was called. And he got the role of a lifetime that changed his life. And it does happen, and it can happen. And even if it doesn't, you got to just, like what you were talking about earlier, you want to do what you love to do. You want to just, if you love something, just do it. Don't wait for somebody to come to you. Just make your own dreams. Be the creator of your own life. Don't just sit back and let other people come to you. So that's kind of what I'm doing now.
No, absolutely. And I'm a perfect example of that. I created my own talk show.
Yeah. And so you were saying that you've been doing the talk show for about 4 years, is that right?
This June coming up will be officially my 4th anniversary.
And originally you started out without video. You were just doing it over the phone, right?
For my, it still gets me. I call it my demo years when in 2013. I interviewed people like Barbara Goodson and Kurgan Mayhem, and some of them I became friends with, and some of them would say, yeah, it was a one-time thing. But when I explained to them it was a demo, I would like to do it in video now. Yeah, shoulda, coulda, woulda, but they want nothing to do with it. So basically, yes, I did. I came from audio, and I was like, well, I'm still having panic attacks. I still having anxiety, and I can't interact with people. Maybe I'm doing it the wrong way. So I went from audio to video, and now I can't shut up when I'm around people.
I was gonna say you don't you don't strike me as somebody who has difficulties interacting with people socially at all. So great. That's great. I mean, considering what you're telling me you used to feel like, you've obviously made huge strides.
Well,
So,
right now I have a mask on. Well, if you meet me in public, if I'm with my family, I'm a little more standoffish. But everyone's like that when you first meet them.
yeah, yeah, I am too. Definitely. I'm pretty shy. When I first, I'm very shy in settings where I don't know people. But obviously, once I get to know you, I'm like you. Like I won't shut up. I can talk forever. But yeah. Well, what about you? Are you interested in acting as well, like yourself? Yeah, right?
Well, Lex, I'm gonna pass the show over to you now. Wrapping up.
Okay.
To answer the question, I it's a long story about that. I can just make it give you the highlights. When I was in my sophomore year, I wanted to be a personal, and this is how the whole thing came about. There's multiple different stories, but here's one of my favorites. I liked Almost Famous. I wanted to be a personal assistant. I wanted to go on the road as a band, Iron Maiden, Rush, and to be a roadie and be a personal assistant, or go and be a personal assistant for a professional wrestler, or Kansas Michelle or John Cena. And that fell through because it wasn't realistic. And then I was like, well, what else I want to do? In 2008, came across a USA TV show, Suits. Now, like, that's what I want. I want to be like Mike Ross, well, without smoking weed. But I want to be like Mike Ross. I want to have a boss like Harvey Specter. So I tried taking acting classes. Yeah, I didn't have the money for it, and I was still, suffering from depression and panic attacks. And maybe now it would be different, but then it wasn't the right time. And at the time I was using my disability as a crutch. Got tired of using it, and among other things. And I'm like, I'm going to show people with a disability I can create my own opportunities. And that's basically a long story short how my talk show got started.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, and you're very. I mean, I feel very comfortable talking to you. So you're good at your job.
I appreciate it. I do have a couple questions for you off the air. And wrapping up, I saved this one at the end. I took it from the factor, so the spin stops here. Going on the record, I want you to be completely honest. You can say whatever you want.
Okay.
When I first approached you, what was your honest opinion of me? And after being interviewed, how do you feel now?
Well, I didn't know who you were, but you just, I didn't know what to think. I didn't know you. So I just thought, you approached me and said you have this talk show and you'd like to interview me. And I just thought, cool. Let's go. I didn't really have, any thoughts or opinions about you other than this sounds like fun. Let's do it. Why not? That's pretty much, it was just very lighthearted. I just thought, oh, this person named Keith reached out to me. He has an interview show and wants to interview me. I just said sure. That was the extent of it. We didn't really talk, so I didn't have any opportunity to form any opinions about you. So I didn't know what to expect. I mean, you were very friendly and not overly friendly, just like normal friendly in your Facebook message. It was, you're just normal. It was just like, hi, I'm Keith. I have the show. Would you like to be interviewed? Sure. Okay. And then it went about setting up a time. So it just seemed like a normal sort of interaction. There was nothing that you did or said in your Facebook message that put me off. You were normal. Okay. So it's like, cool. And now I think you're really nice. I mean, you seem like a great guy. Um, I think I really hope that you continue to do this because you're good at it. I feel like you are. You seem very comfortable talking to people, to me, and you made me feel comfortable. And yeah, I have a positive impression. So that's the truth. You
Yeah.
haven't done anything that made me go, what a dick, or what a jerk, or something
Well,
like
give it
that.
time.
Okay. Well, so far you haven't done anything that made me hate you. Um, yeah. So yeah, it's good. Positive.
I appreciate it. And now, so like I said, stay tuned for after the show. I do have a couple questions for you. But
Okay.
wrapping up, I'm looking forward to building a friendship with you and getting a chance to know you.
Okay. Sounds good. Let's do it.